Hey everybody, welcome to another video review. So I think this is one of the, I guess, the first times you get to see me in person. Most of the time I record behind the camera. So this is going to be a little bit of a special scenario, and I'm recording this in mid-December. I think December 15th, but I might finally upload it maybe, weeks later, because this is sort of my introduction to doing I guess firstly just like an overview of all of the master replicas and EFX lightsabers that I spent the better part of a year acquiring, and kind of just showing you, how I have them set up, which is nowhere near as nice as what I like to do someday. But this is kind of like, what I have now to be able to at least show them off. And then since I have, all 25 unique master replicas lightsabers, and so far the 4, released EFX lightsabers, I just thought that it would be interesting to do a ranking of my personal my personal ranking of 1 to 29. Number 1 obviously being, the best, all the way down to 29. And I mean, there's nothing like that out there, really, because there's very few people who actually can say that they own all 29 of them. There are a couple of people who owned all 11 master replicas signature editions, but I don't know of anyone who's owned all 25. And then the 4 EFX versions, obviously there's got to be, they're out there, but they certainly have not sort of used their collection, or kind of showcase their collection on platforms like YouTube, to the best of my knowledge. If there is, I would love to see that. So, please direct me to them. It would always be cool to kind of see other people's, collections and how they show it off. But the lightsaber, collecting community is a pretty small one, especially those of us who are only interested in the static lightsabers, not the ones that are, for instance, custom, or the actual ones where you actually light them up. For instance, when we are interested mainly in the static props, and we're mainly interested in the beauty of the actual hilts themselves, right? And we want to get the licensed replicas, not the custom versions. And so that's a more small community. And so over the past, 1 year of doing it, I've come to know quite a few of them, made some new friends. And so I tend to have some idea, of who has what out there. So I think it's actually a pretty small number who actually managed to track down all 29 of these. And so since I did the work, I thought it would be pretty fun to rank them. And then I had to think to myself, like, how am I going to best do that in a video? Because, my lightsabers are kind of scattered across 3 separate places. I stacked them on the mantelpiece of 3 of my fireplaces in my home. And so it just didn't seem practical to constantly walk from one place to another. I have one upstairs in my bedroom fireplace as well. So I decided I'm gonna have to splice them. And so I'm gonna have to splice 29 short videos where I kind of, very briefly, or not so briefly, talk about each one and maybe give some thoughts and some rationale for why I ranked them at that particular, place, right? So I decided that was probably the best thing to do. And so this is sort of my introduction video to kind of introduce that idea. and then also to talk a little bit about my criteria and what I used to rank them, to kind of give that overview. And I think the next video or next sequence of videos will be very short ones, just sort of showing you the 3 major places where I keep the 29 hilts. So in terms of the criteria, the one thing that I didn't use is its market value, mainly because I think that, you know, fluctuates quite a bit. It does have some indirect relationship to rarity, but it's not just how rare it is, because, you know, there are certain hilts, for instance, like, you know, the Mara Jade Signature Edition, of which I believe there's only 750. That's very rare, but it's not quite as desirable, right? Because it's not, you know, say, the original trilogy. It's not necessarily canon. So I didn't want to go based, I didn't want to take into account essentially how much it's going to sell. Also because just depending on the, you know, on luck and what, you know, what year it is and where we are in the economy, the prices can fluctuate pretty, you know, radically, pretty drastically. And there's also so many things that go into the pricing. Obviously, lightsabers that are, you know, completely in box with all of the original packaging are going to fetch much, much higher price. But that doesn't really, you know, whether it has a brown shipper or has the original styrofoam or has the original, you know, the paper and all that, that doesn't really affect, right, the enjoyment of the saber to that extent. We don't display the brown boxes. We display the actual lightsabers. So I didn't take market value into account. And it's mainly a matter of my, and it goes without saying, obviously, since I'm ranking them as my personal opinion, but I based my opinion on the aesthetics of the hilt, how beautiful it looks to me, you know, what sort of designs speak to me, what I found most pleasing. So that includes, you know, again, the material, the workmanship, the design, the execution, the quality. That's a really, really big part, actually, of how I rank them, right? How I rank them. And then to a certain degree, to a lesser degree, but still significant, I would say, you know, 2/3 to 1/3, I do consider the legacy of that hilt. You know, is it from the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy? How recognizable is it? How important is it to pop culture, you know, to sort of, you know, the zeitgeist of the times, so to speak? How well has it held up? Is it still relevant, you know, today after 10, 15, 20, 30 years? So the legacy aspect of that collectible, of that prop, I also take into account. So it's mainly aesthetics and then legacy. And then finally, you know, whether fair or not, my ranking has to be informed by the fact that I own all of them. And so obviously, you know, if I already own a Darth Maul Signature Edition, that's going to somewhat affect my feelings toward the EFX Legend, you know, Maul, also signed by Ray Park. If I already own a Signature Edition, you know, Luke Skywalker from Star Wars A New Hope, that's going to affect how I see the Elite Edition. Even though I bought both of them, because in my mind, there's a significant difference, you know, between a Signature Edition that has Mark Hamill's signature licensed on a, you know, plaque, but it's made of aluminum. But then you have, of course, the stainless steel, much higher quality materials of the Elite Edition, but not signed. There's a distinction. But the fact that they're both the same lightsaber, that affects things, you know. So that's going to change the ranking. So hopefully, you know, that gives you some context. It kind of gives you, yeah, a little bit of that, you know, context for how I decided to rank them. And I'll go through, you know, some of them. Of course, I'll go through them all in more detail when I highlight each one. And I also like to just end by saying that it was a pretty, you know, difficult thing to do. My top 10 And my bottom 6, I'm pretty confident about, I'm pretty sure about the ranking. I don't think that's going to change too much. Maybe very small little changes, which I'll go over later on. But by and large, I don't think there's anything that's going to break into the top 10 or break out of the bottom 6. But, within that middle zone, within the middle 14, it was really, really difficult. Very, very close from one to the other. A lot of different things to think about. And I did change my mind a couple of times. So this kind of reflects, how I feel and how I think after sort of turning it over in my head for a good couple weeks, and I may change the rankings, in the future, maybe in the month or a year or, a decade. My feelings may change. And of course, we do have other hilts that are coming. For instance, number 30 is the dual lightsabers from Ahsoka, the Disney Plus show, and that's supposed to be released sometime in January. A dark saber was shown at the San Diego Comic-Con earlier this year, but the pre-order for that hasn't even come up. And there may be other lightsabers. EFX does own the license for now, does hold the license for now. And so there may be other lightsaber releases in the upcoming years. And as I get those, that'll of course change the ranking somewhat. I do want to make one. I will end with one exception, is that I actually am not quite correct. I don't own every single licensed replica. I don't own the prop shops, Kylo Ren or Rey, Rey hilts, because what did they do? They made like 30 of them or something before they lost the license, went out of business. It's kind of a shameful little chapter from that company. The fact that, they were actually paid to do the effects in the movie and somehow could not even hold onto the license. That's already, they should have told us a little bit something about the judgment of Disney sometimes and the people they work with. But I don't have those. And I never did buy the EFX Mandalorian Luke Skywalker, because I feel like at some point I have to draw the line. I already have the version 2 signature edition. I already have the Elite edition, and then the EFX Review edition. And then to just get another Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi, the green lightsaber hilt, except this time, in my opinion, a lesser version, a much less a less limited version, the one with a very large emitter, even though it's true supposedly to the prop used in the Mandalorian. And at some point, I had to draw the line. It's not too expensive in the overall scheme of things, certainly compared to the higher price tags of these other hilts. It was only about $500–600, including shipping. But I had to draw the line somewhere. I didn't think it was, I hate to say it, I just didn't think it was worthy of my collection, where there's so much better versions of it. Again, EFX, they're getting better, and I hope they continue to get better, but sometimes their decisions are just not too good. And that particular release just kind of smacks a little bit of laziness. And so at least at this point, I just couldn't bring myself to spend the money to buying yet another, Return of the Jedi Luke. So, okay, that's enough of me sort of blathering around. This is my introduction to my definitive Master Replicas and EFX lightsaber collection and the ranking. And I'm going to be ranking from the bottom up. I feel like that's probably, the more interesting way to do it. So I'll see you guys after the cut. The next part of the video will just be simply me showing like an overview of the hilts and where I keep them. Hey everybody, welcome back after the break. So this is one of the 3 mantelpieces where I keep some of my hilts. I keep 11 of them, as you can see. This is in my bedroom. So we have the 2 Yodas, you can see on the top. In the middle is the Anakin signature edition from Attack of the Clones. Then we have the Lukes from Return of the Jedi, the V2 signature edition, the Star Wars A New Hope signature edition, and then the Empire Strikes Back signature edition. This case is not the original case. The original case was much lower profile than the old ones. I really did not like that because it was so cramped. When you combine that case with the silver signature plaque. It was just really cramped, so I put it in another case there. And then here we have Obi-Wan from Revenge of the Sith. Bottom is Obi-Wan Elite Edition from The Phantom Menace. And then we have the Revenge of the Sith, Darth Vader. And then the Elite New Hope Star Wars and the Elite Return of the Jedi. So some pretty big grails here. And as you can see, we have some custom signature plaques to accent the pieces, those that were never released. With signatures, I kind of took care of that myself. All the acrylic is there. You can see a little bit of the reflection on my reflection if you look closely. So yeah, this is display 1, and I'll show you the 2nd and 3rd downstairs after the cuts. Hey everybody, welcome back after the cut. So this is the 2nd mantelpiece that I'm going to show you. Although I actually started collecting and putting lightsabers on here first. This is the longest mantelpiece, has the largest fireplace. It's downstairs in the modified family room. And you're able to fit actually 5 lightsaber hilts from end to end. And so just stacking on top of each other, you can get 10 actually here. I have a lot of Beauty and the Beast framed cells, and so you can't really go much higher than that. Here we have the Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan over the Count Dooku signature. We have the Obi-Wan as first built over a truly epic hilt, the Vader dual signature from New Hope. And then we have the Bling Bling with the Darth Sidious and the Mace Windu. And over here, we got ourselves the Empire Strikes Back Vader hilt and the Mara Jade. This is the extended universe version of the character. And then finally, we have Anakin Skywalker's Revenge of the Sith lightsaber and the Return of the Jedi David Prowse. So all pretty much signatured out. Very, very nice. So this is the 2nd mantelpiece, 10 hilts. Hey everybody, welcome back after the cut. This is my 3rd and final mantelpiece. As you can see, we have 9 hilts here. This is my EFX wall, so to speak. We have all 4 existing EFX hilts, and of course the soon-to-be released Ahsoka Tano dual lightsabers is also waiting. So 3rd wall, here we have Obi-Wan weathered, both a artist-proof plaque as well as the original. We have a battle-damaged Maul, and then we have the actual signature edition Maul. Got Qui-Gon hanging out here, and then we have the EFX Legend Maul lightsaber, Dark Ray, the Luke reveal, a custom signed Ahsoka Tano. And then of course, if you go real far back, you can see this is the Dave Filoni signature behind it. There's no way to actually see it, unfortunately, because the lightsaber is essentially locked onto the acrylic legs. And then up here is Katie Sackhoff, Bo-Katan Kryze, and the signature plaque is waiting for the dark saber to be made. Right now, that's not even been on pre-order. It was shown in San Diego Comic-Con earlier this year, so I'm really hoping that they don't screw it up and not make it, but we're ready for this. So there you go. This is the 3rd, so you now have a good idea of all 3 of my fireplaces on the mantle of which I have stacked my lightsaber collection. We got 8 here, 10 on the other one, and then, what is it, 11? 11, 10, yeah, 11, 10, and this is 8. So total, if my math is correct, 29, right? There you go. And then this space over here, we're waiting for Ahsoka Tano to show up. All right, very good. Now we have, now that you have an idea of where I'm keeping all of my lightsabers, we can do the countdown at the next cut. So I'll see you after the cut. Okay, welcome everybody after the cut. So now we're gonna start our countdown. You know where I keep all of my 29 hilts. And let's start with number 29. So number 29 at the bottom of the list is the EFX Legend Darth Maul lightsaber, signed by Ray Park. I will link, I think, to the full YouTube video review for each of these, so you can get more in-depth information for why I ranked each. But for this countdown, suffice to say that this is the 29th is by far, in my opinion, the worst of the 29. But by the way, these are all epic lightsabers, so even the worst is still, in my opinion, pretty darn good. I mean, this is a pretty beautiful golden plaque. You got Ray Park's gorgeous signature, and then of course I plussed it with a custom acrylic case. So it's still beautiful. It still displays, I think, quite well. But again, the fact that it doesn't come with a acrylic cover, I had to fabricate it, and the fact that the actual lightsaber itself is resin, are pretty bad. And we already have, of course, a signature version of Darth Maul's lightsaber from Master Replicas. So this does, kind of seem superfluous, and, basically, it's like worse on almost every conceivable level, right? No mirror base, no acrylic case, no metal, except the ends, all resin, So yeah, I mean, definitely number 29. It's the only lightsaber where its majority is actually resin. So something to think about there. I do like the gold, the gold plaque, but kind of, and the signature, which is really nice. But that's about it. All right, so that's number 29. After the cut, let's find out what we have for number 28. Hey everybody, welcome back. Let's resume the countdown. So this is number 28. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Yoda lightsaber. I've gone on record saying I'm not a huge fan of any of the Yoda lightsabers, just in terms of even the concept of it. So it's just a few things. Number one, they're just very, very small. And I know that, they're small because they're supposed to fit in Yoda's hand. But when you're actually handling it, you can't just help but feel like the hilt is awfully cheap. It feels super light. And of all of the lightsaber hilts, it feels the most like a toy. Even the Darth Maul, from EFX, when it's like a cheap piece of resin, but at least it's got some length to it. It's got some, weight, a little bit of weight to it. Has a really, really nice long base. But this is just too tiny, too small. Craftsmanship is okay, but, just, again, very, very underwhelming when you have it in front of you. It feels like something, again, that you could buy off of a Walmart or Target shelf, almost like a Star Wars plastic toy rather than a high-end replica. This is the older of the two. Another thing, by the way, is that Yoda's lightsaber was never really a prop. It never existed in reality, and the team at Master Replicas basically had to, create it. Because Yoda was a completely CGI after Episode 1, So episode 2 and 3 are where you actually see Yoda wield the lightsaber for the first time. You know, it was all basically digital. And so they never had a prop to actually look at. They had to just kind of fabricate it. The collectible itself was the first fabrication of the prop. So, you know, I wasn't, you know, again, there's like a legacy factor that's a problem as well. And then finally, the reason I didn't like this version too much, it was the first one out, the older one. I think that the Revenge of the Sith Yoda lightsaber is a little bit more, has a little bit more character, is a bit more detail. So I prefer that one to this one, hence why this is number 28. You can see that the plaque is, they didn't even have a separate plaque holder. It's a little bit cheap. Literally you glue it to the actual acrylic leg. They actually incorporated that. So there's no separate plaque, which I'm not thrilled about. I don't like this type of base style with acrylic case is actually, you know, inset into the base. So, you know, for all of these reasons, I chose this as number 28 out of 29. Only the resin Darth Maul is below this one, because again, I can't stand the resin, you know, prop. And this isn't resin, at least it's still made out of good materials. One thing that also is really annoying is that the grip here is very, very much, you know, victim to the sort of the rubber seal problem, to the point where I don't think that a Attack of the Clones, you know, Yoda even exists without, like, you know, the rubber seal falling apart, and you had to strip it with alcohol. So that's another kind of manufacturing defect problem with this piece, along with everything else. This is the lowest ranking Master Replicas lightsaber hilt. All right, let's go on to number 27. Hey everybody, welcome back after the cut. So this is number 27. This is the Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber from episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Now, you know, this is actually a really, really, you know, beautiful lightsaber. So why did I rank it so low? Well, I mean, you know, the main issue here is that, you know, this was a repeat essentially of the Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace lightsaber. It's identical in almost every respect. I go into this in my dedicated review of this lightsaber, and, you know, you can listen to that if you wish, but, you know, except for some very, very minor differences, you know, like maybe the gold, you know, knob there, it's essentially the same. And the Phantom Menace version of this lightsaber is, of course, an elite edition, made of stainless steel, much better crafted. And so, you know, in my, you know, kind of analysis of this, when I was thinking about the rankings, as nice as this lightsaber is, you know, it's edition of 2500, and it really is a little bit superfluous, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's, you know, again, one of the few hilts that's an exact copy. It doesn't really have anything to set it apart. Of course, I'm giving a nice custom signature plaque by Ewan McGregor is really nice. But because of that, you know, I did rank it quite low, because you don't really need this if you have the Phantom Menace version. Now, of course, for those people who are not able to get the Phantom Menace version or don't want to spend the money on that, then, you know, this is not bad. Another problem that I have with it is that, you know, this was kind of the one lightsaber that's unique in sort of a bad way, is that it didn't really come with a display case. Now, some of the really, really old versions were released where the display cases were optional, but I didn't like the fact that, you know, a lot of times, you know, this saber was basically sold only in its own box. There was no display case or mirror base associated with it. And the certificate of authenticity was one of those more shoddy ones where you had the plaque literally in the certificate at the bottom. So there was, you know, a few things about it that I wasn't too thrilled about. So overall, those are the reasons why I ranked this one number 27, even though, again, its workmanship and design is very good. And its brother, the better brother, so to speak. The elite version of this is ranked actually pretty high. All right, let's see what number 26 is. Hey everybody, welcome back after the cut. So this is doing our countdown. This is number 26, the Yoda lightsaber from Revenge of the Sith. I put this above the Obi-Wan from Attack of the Clones because, this is sort of, in my opinion, like the better, unique lightsaber. For sure, it's going to be above the Yoda from Attack of the Clones. As you can see with the display case, it's definitely the newer style with the acrylic case, sitting on the beveled ledge versus sinking inside the mirror display, which the older cases all had, which I definitely did not like. I think there's more mirror base this way. So that's number one. It has the 2 plaques, so that's really nice. Very classy, as you can see. The reason for the 2 plaques I don't really much like. It's kind of silly, but they do look good. And this is of course better than the Attack of the Clones in my opinion in multiple ways. The first is that it has a bit of battle damage and some scratches from Yoda's nails. This is, of course, from after the Clone Wars. And if you've watched, the 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, you'll see that Yoda had, quite a bit of adventures and growth during the Clone Wars. He saw a lot of action. In fact, the very first episode of the Clone Wars, featured him. So because this is from Revenge of the Sith, occurring after the Clone Wars, you see the battle damage. They added some gemstones, some of the green gemstone there, the green glass. So just a little bit more flavor, a little bit more, artistic, what's the best word? A little bit of artistic variety. It doesn't have the rubber coating that the Attack of the Clones version has. They got away from that, fortunately. And so, this is basically like a improved version of the Attack of the Clones. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Yoda lightsaber, to begin with, which is why this is still ranked number, 26, but it definitely, is above the Attack of the Clones version. And then I kind of had to make a decision whether I rank this above or below the Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan. And even though I like the Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan saber better, I mean, it's longer, bigger, heavier, but it doesn't come with its own case. It feels a little bit cheap, and it is, of course, just kind of like a pale copy of the, better Elite Edition. And, if you wanted to kind of look at the unique design, I chose the unique design of Revenge of the Sith Yoda over the repeat design, a near identical design of the Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan. So there you go. This is number 26, right? Yeah, this is number 26. So I'll see you guys after the cut, where we will look at number 25. All right, welcome back after the cut. So this is number 25. This is the Master Replicas battle damaged Darth Maul lightsaber. I ranked it 25 because it's a unique piece, so that's nice. Definitely above the Yoda hilt, and also above the non-unique Obi-Wan Attack of the Clones hilt. But it is, at the end of the day, merely half of the actual full Darth Maul lightsaber. So that kind of takes it a step down in my book. And then over here, of course, really, really nice crystal powering the actual hilt. So you can kind of get a glimpse of this, what is it, kyber crystal? I don't know if that is the kyber crystal. I'm not quite sure, or whether there's just something to power it up. Don't know the specific lore of this. So, you know, there are aspects of it that's pretty neat. But in my opinion, you know, not quite good enough to justify anything higher than this rank. So yeah, number 25. And since we're down here anyways, I'm not going to cut. I'll just go right to number 24, which is Master Replicas Qui-Gon Jinn. I reviewed this lightsaber, as I did all of these, and I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised by how cool, you know, it is. As you get a little bit closer, you can kind of see some of the more elegant design. But this is really a hilt that's screaming for a signature plaque, as I mentioned before. I mean, I do place this above the battle damaged Maul because, again, the Maul was just, you know, half of the actual hilt. But of all of the unique full-size lightsabers, you know, this is kind of still the one that's lacking a little bit. And so that's why it can only go up to number 24. All right, let's take a look at number 23 after the cut. Hey everybody, welcome back after the cut. So this is number 23 from our countdown from 29 to number 1. And this is, of course, the Mara Jade lightsaber. This is the lowest signature edition lightsaber I have on my list. There's 11 total. As you can see here, it's number 661 with Shannon McRandall. So it's a, you know, beautiful lightsaber. Very, very nice. As well, you know, it's a very unique design. It is from a extended universe character, Mara Jade, you know, who was the Emperor's Hand. First introduced, I believe, in the Heir to the Empire trilogy by Timothy Zahn. And then in the EU series of books, she eventually marries Luke. But I rank this very, very low, just mainly because it's not exactly canon. It's something that's never really been seen in any kind of, you know, Star Wars movie or show. So it's kind of, you know, completely just sort of made up. The actress, you know, no offense intended, is not very, you know, famous. There's just no history or legacy around her in terms of the portrayal of, you know, Mara Jade. And so even though it is a signature edition, it ranked, you know, very, very low compared to all of the other signature editions. But, you know, because it is a signature edition, I did place it above some of my, you know, lesser or you know, least favorite hilts. So this is, again, number 23, right? I believe. Wait a minute. 29, 28. Yeah, this is number 23. So we'll find out what number 22 is after the cut. Welcome back after the cut. Number 22, the Dark Ray, or the Dark Side Ray lightsaber. This is from EFX. So this is the second time an EFX lightsaber has shown up on our top 29 countdown. Of course, unfortunately, the resin, you know, Darth Maul lightsaber came in dead last at number 29. But this is quite a few spots up. This is number 22. And as you can see, it's an absolutely gorgeous lightsaber. I can't rank it super high because, you know, it's, of course, from like a vision of Dark Ray, literally seen for seconds in the Rise of Skywalker Episode 9 movie. It's not really one of my favorite movies. Don't really like that movie at all. And this is just like a very, very short little, you know, cameo that's not even real. But the actual design and the paint and the materials of this lightsaber is top notch. Everything from the base with sort of the black screw buttons, as well as the black plaque is just really, really cool, really unique. And it is a really a good enough lightsaber, beautiful enough, where the design, the unique aspect of it, the limitation, and of course the history. I mean, it's pretty cool having a dark side ray, right? All of that was enough to push it above the Mara Jade Signature Edition. Granted, Mara Jade was not, this is not Signature Edition, but in everything else, I think this trumps the Mara Jade in terms of, again, the size of it, the quality of it, just overwhelming, very, very classy. So I did put it over a Signature Edition Mara Jade. It was close, but that's what I did. So this is number 22. Let's see what number 21 is after the cut. Welcome back after the cut. So this is number 21. This is from Master Replicas Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Darth Vader lightsaber. Even though this was never actually seen in the movie, and it is a modern design, it's still one of my favorite Vaders. I just think it's really, really cool how they took the original MPP design. That was of course the original Vader from New Hope, and they kind of made it more shiny, more glossy. Looks really, really nice. I mean, it is the prequel version, so it shouldn't be as nice, but of course they made it after. But I just kind of really like the design. Very, very beautiful. And now we're getting into the more canon films, the higher class lightsabers, from the prequels and the original trilogy. So this is still, in a way, one of the lesser ones, but it's very close to breaking out of the bottom third. Because again, while you never get to see it, which is a mark against it, still, it's an original design from the prequels and a very, very cool looking one. So that's why I ranked this one number 21. And again, I don't need to cut because right up and to the right is number 20. This is the Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber. And this is an absolutely gorgeous lightsaber, very, very beautiful. The Obi-Wan design is one of my favorite designs. I mean, obviously the Luke from Return of the Jedi is a homage to that. And this is, of course, what it looked like when Obi-Wan Kenobi was a Jedi Master. You can see the gold, which is the electrum plating over here, and completely beautiful. This is what he wielded as a Jedi Master in Revenge of the Sith. And I chose this as number 20 just because I liked this design a little bit more than the Vader. You actually get to see it as well. And boy, Revenge of the Sith really has some amazing lightsaber, designs. Prop shop, she get a lot of credit for that. But yeah, this is number 20. And after the cut, we'll see number 19. So now we've gone through number 20 to 29. So we're now going to enter the middle third of the rankings, and let's see what number 19 is after the cut. Welcome back after the cut. So this is number 19 on our countdown. Master Replicas Darth Maul Signature Edition, signed by Ray Park. Calling this number 19 because it is a signature edition. Not my favorite. I mean, obviously that's why it's all the way down in number 19. But I actually thought it would be a lot lower. I never really loved this lightsaber. I always thought it looked a little bit more like resin to me. It didn't have that kind of that flashy gold plating or chrome plating. It seemed kind of, plain in a way. But man, after seeing it in person and then comparing it to the EFX resin version, this thing rose quite a bit higher in my estimation. But I ranked it lower because, again, it didn't have the custom mirror base or the acrylic case. I mean, all of this had to be, custom ordered, which, I think is, just a little bit ridiculous. And, it is a little bit more plain design. Of course, when you come up close and look, the metal finish is definitely way more, evident, and it's nicer to appreciate. But yeah, this is, I think, the last signature edition I bought from the 11, master replica signature pieces. But it was a pleasant surprise, and I did rank it actually quite a bit higher than I thought I would compared, to the rest on the list. I mean, the fact that it's a signature edition does, hold some sway, and that's why it winds up, being higher than, for instance, the Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan and the Vader Revenge of the Sith, even though they're kind of like much more beautiful lightsabers. But this one is, still a signature edition, and for that, I put it up at number 19, above the some of the non-signature ones. All right, let's take a look at number 18, After the Cut. Hey everybody, welcome back. After the Cut, this is number 18 on a countdown. Darth Sidious's lightsaber. I put this is one of the higher ones that's like non-elite, non-signature. It's an absolutely amazing lightsaber. Really, really luxurious, chrome-plated, 24 karat. Well, no, I don't know, is it 18 karat? It's not 24 karat. So I think it's, there are some 18 karat plating involved, but it's just an amazingly luxurious piece, befitting, the Emperor. It's a little bit small. It's actually a bit bigger than Yoda, but not that much bigger. So it is a very elegant, small design. I didn't like Yoda's because, I felt that, he should be above lightsabers. And to a similar degree, I feel like, Emperor Palpatine or, Darth Sidious should also be above such things. I didn't like Yoda's because it was too small, and here we have this lightsaber, which is not that much bigger. But I ranked this one quite a bit higher, number 18, because the craftsmanship and the design is just so amazing. Really, really beautiful, elegant lightsaber, almost like a jewelry essentially. And so for that reason, this is one of the highest ranked non-elite, non-signature sabers that's actually out there. So that's number 18. And I will see you after the cut for number 17. Hey everybody, welcome back. After the cut for number 17. This is our Empire Strikes Back, Luke Skywalker Signature Edition. Empire Strikes Back, one of my favorite movies of all time, and certainly my favorite Star Wars movie. You can see here the only one with Mark Hamill's signature on a silver plaque. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can see the minute differences between this one and the original Star Wars A New Hope Luke Skywalker lightsaber. And this is part of the reason I ranked it a bit lower, because it's a little bit too similar, to the original New Hope. So it doesn't really add that much, more to that saber. And I think that the New Hope versions, are a bit better than this. And you have to do something, significantly different. You change the control box. You put a few more, screws into the T-track. You change the button, up top. This is the glass eye. But for all intents and purposes, this is sort of the same lightsaber as the New Hope. And, the signature, which is gorgeous on a silver plaque, is not quite enough. And on top of that, this case is a custom case. The original case, again, was the smaller one with the smaller acrylic, much lower in profile. It's indented into the mirror base. And, due to the size of the silver plaque, it just really wasn't allowed to shine. It was very cramped. It was one of the, I think the only case, in my opinion, where I just could not display the lightsaber appropriately. I had to have another version, just to be able to properly display it. And so those are the reasons that it, went down to number 17, which is certainly, no shame. I mean, it's basically halfway down. It's still higher than, quite a few other hilts. Number 16, however, does go to the Elite Edition version. This is from Star Wars A New Hope, Luke Skywalker Elite Edition. You can see the both the number as well as the Worldwide Edition plaque. And you can tell immediately that there is a significant difference in materials. This is, of course, stainless steel. Everything is the highest quality. It's extremely heavy, beautifully made. And so in every respect, this is just a complete class, complete quality. And you know, most of the elite sabers I have pretty high up. This is actually, believe it or not, you know, the lowest ranked elite lightsaber, because the heavy hitters are coming up after this. But I did place it right above the Empire Strikes Back version. It was a struggle because, you know, I'm sort of struggling between the signature, Mark Hamill's signature on the silver plaque, which is, you know, very, very important. But then again, comparing it to the overall quality and build of an Elite Edition lightsaber, I gave the New Hope Elite Edition just a little tiny smidgen over the Empire Strikes Back, but they were neck and neck. All right, so that's number 16. I did that together because they were so close. So number 17, Empire Strikes Back, Luke Skywalker Signature Edition. And then number 16 is the Star Wars A New Hope Luke Skywalker Lightsaber Elite Edition. So I'll see you guys after the cut, and you'll see number 15, where now we're entering the top half of the rankings, number 15. And let's see what that is after the cut. All right, everybody, welcome back. After the cut, this is number 15. Things are getting real now. We're going to the top 15. So this is Master Replicas, Darth Vader Empire Strikes Back Signature Edition, signed in silver by the great James Earl Jones. There you go, 15. Now, you know, this, again, is surprisingly low because it is Empire Strikes Back, one of my favorite movies. This is Vader. But just as the Luke Skywalker Empire Strikes Back suffered a little bit from its similarity to the New Hope, well, you know, the Empire Strikes Back Vader is very similar, as you can see, to the New Hope version. To be fair, there are some very minute differences, which, you know, my in-depth reviews go into, but they're very similar. And when you already have the original New Hope dual signature, then the Empire Strikes Back signature suffers a little bit in comparison. Again, you can see here, this is the old school mirror base and acrylic case, which I'm not a big fan of. The only good thing is that they made the acrylic here a little bit higher versus the Luke Skywalker Empire Strikes Back, which was just way too low. So due to the increased height of the acrylic legs to accommodate the height of the silver signature plaque, you know, it just basically displays a little bit better. But yeah, this is number 15, number 15. Let's see number 14 after the cut. Number 14, ladies and gentlemen, after the cut, this is the Ahsoka Tano from EFX. Now, I had a custom plaque made from the Clone Wars signed by Ashley Eckstein. Is it Eckstein or Eckstein? In any case, you know, Ashley signed it. I love her signature. You see the A for the Ahsoka, the Ashley, really, really nice. But this is my custom signature edition plaque. But if you go behind it, you'll see that this is the original Dave Filoni plaque as well. And so this is number 14, very high for an EFX hilt. As you can see, I had to get a custom acrylic case designed for it. Very nice base, Star Wars. You see the 4 screws on the corners. One of the things that kind of hurt it is it's very difficult to display any signature plaque. As you can see, the reason for this is that the acrylic legs are actually part of the plaque, and so you can't move the plaques around. It would be wonderful to display both the signature edition from Dave Filoni, that signature, as well as Ashley, but it's impossible. And so, you know, I decided that the person who voiced Ahsoka takes precedence. And the reason I put this lightsaber up so high, even above the Empire Strikes Back Vader, is because, you know, it is wholly unique. It's the only lightsaber that we have from the Clone Wars version. And you know, it's beautiful in its simplicity. And Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters. It's very, very rare and sought after. And so, you know, I'm quite happy to have this. It's hurt a little bit by the fact that it should have been a dual lightsaber, just like the one they're going to release hopefully next month from the Ahsoka Disney Plus show. So there should have been 2 of these, but at the time, and I guess they didn't want to, EFX didn't want to waste the money on having 2 lightsabers that are essentially the same, just smaller. But yeah, you know, the Ahsoka Tano Director's Edition, only a couple hundred of those made. I think 574 total was made. You can take a look here at the edition size right here, just kind of sneaking around the edge of it. That's number 14. Let's continue the countdown after the cut. Welcome after the cut. This is number 13. Star Wars Return of the Jedi Signature Edition. I chose this because, again, it's one of my favorite hilts. Just kind of taking a look here. Very unique design. I mean, even though I know that the reason for it was because they lost the saber from the original movie, I still have a soft spot for this. Sorry for the glare in the background pictures, but you can see signed by David Prowse. The first one signed not on the silver plaque. You can see it's extremely limited, only 500 made, and very different from the New Hope and Empire Strikes Back version of Vader. Very rare. Nice design, and so for that reason, I did decide to put this above the Empire. So these three, you know, Return of the Jedi Vader, Empire Strikes Back Vader, and Ahsoka in the middle, they all have similar edition sizes. You know, these guys are 500, Ahsoka's 574, and the reason I grouped them, Vader Jedi followed by Ahsoka followed by Vader Empire, it just has to do, again, with the uniqueness of the blades, the uniqueness of the hilts. I felt that, you know, Vader, I like the design of the Jedi one just a little bit better than the classic Empire. And again, Empire, of course, is a very, very subtle difference and variation from New Hope, and then followed by Ahsoka, because it's, again, a very unique design. I wanted it to represent the entirety of the Clone Wars. You know, Ahsoka, one of my favorite, you know, characters, and then finally Empire. So that's kind of how I grouped those three. Now, after the cut, we're going to start getting into very rarefied air. We're going into the top 12. All right, welcome back. So this is number 12. This is the Obi-Wan Kenobi as first built by Obi-Wan. This is probably one of the most valuable lightsabers. It regularly goes for well over, I think, 4,000 if it's complete in box. This is an absolutely stunning lightsaber, as you can see. Absolutely beautiful. It's a very old version because it is essentially a alternate version of the original Obi-Wan Kenobi weathered version. This never existed, of course. This is like Master Replicas, fanciful representation of what it would be like if it was brand new, but it is absolutely gorgeous. It does come in the very, very traditional old mirror, you know, base and acrylic case. You can see that's extremely low profile. This is actually the same case, I think, that the Master Replicas Luke Skywalker Empire Strikes Back came in way too low for the silver plaque. You can see here, there is no silver plaque. There's no signature edition. This is just like a regular edition. And so you don't have the height of the silver to contend with. So it displays reasonably well. But you can imagine if you had the silver signature plaque as the Empire Strikes Back Luke did, there just simply would be no space to properly display it. But yeah, this is number 12, one of my favorite hilts, extremely beautiful, a beautiful idealized version of the classic weathered Obi-Wan. After the cut, we're gonna take a look at number 11. Hey everybody, welcome back after the cut. This is number 11, Obi-Wan Kenobi Elite Edition from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. We're doing this actually under both daylight, natural lighting, as well as the you know, overhead lights. So this is the Elite Edition, and that's kind of the reason why I put the Attack of the Clones version so low. I mean, all the way down into the 20s, because it's identical really in every respect, except this one is made out of much, much better quality, much higher quality materials, stainless steel. We got over here, you know, the plaque, and I had a custom Ewan McGregor signature plaque put together. It's a very, very nice display. New acrylic, you know, the new acrylic case and mirror base for Master Replicas. The base is also a little bit, you know, glossy, so very, very nice. In general, those Elite Editions are all incredibly beautiful. And so this one I put even above the Obi-Wan as first built. I mean, that one looked gorgeous. But again, you know, it's very hard to beat an Elite Edition hilt. So this is number 11, and then we're going to be entering the top 10 after this. All right, let's go. Top 10. Number 10, highest rated EFX lightsaber, the Luke reveal. Not really canon, part of a scene that was deleted. And there might be, you know, slightly better quality ones made custom, but this is licensed. And it's just an amazing lightsaber in general. So many moving parts, lights up, very imaginative. Absolutely deserves to be in the top 10, I think. And I know EFX really kind of hit their peak with this one. Very, very nice piece. Very beautifully machined. Excellent. So check out my earlier review to see exactly why I love this so much. But this is number 10 on the countdown. All right, number 9. Revenge of the Sith, Anakin Skywalker. Prequel. Absolutely gorgeous design, chromed, gold plating, the knurling, everything is just absolutely amazing. And this is, of course, you know, supposed to be the precursor to the classic Star Wars A New Hope lightsaber that Luke Skywalker gets. You can definitely see them paying homage to that. But, you know, with, again, the New Hope bling, absolutely stunning. Here you can see I have the custom Hayden Christensen signature. Take a look at all of that. So one of the most iconic hilts, an excellent reimagining from the design team from the, you know, original prequel trilogies. Just very, very beautiful. I choose this as number 9 on my top 10, number 9. Number 8. This is Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber from Attack of the Clones, Signature Edition. I love both of his lightsabers from the prequel trilogies. I love the Episode 3 version, and I love this version. This is very, very sleek, extremely heavy. It's just a beautiful, beautiful lightsaber. It's sort of like the light side mirror of Vader's lightsaber. You can see the shroud here. But I think what puts this over the top for me is the signature between the two. And then also, I just kind of like this design with, again, the homage to Vader, just a little bit more. But yeah, for sure, number 8. So, you know, Anakin's lightsabers are 8 and 9. Very, very close. But let's go to the cut and we'll see what number 7 is. So despite the fact that it's one of the older Master Replicas releases, despite the fact that, you know, it has the old style acrylic case and base that I hate, the original Obi-Wan lightsaber from Star Wars A New Hope is number 7. That's how high I hold this lightsaber. Amazing. You take a look at the beautiful job that they did weathering it. It just looks like natural weathering, you know, not the clumsy weathering you see in some of the other hilts. Just, you know, the way it was created with all those different parts, like a grenade and, you know, random parts from a kitchen faucet in the UK and a tossed out jet engine. This is just one of the original coolest designs of a lightsaber ever. I like this, and of course, way better than an MPP flash gun or even a Graflex. And you know, this, of course, was the so-called father to the Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi lightsaber, which they modified. So, you know, without doubt, Obi-Wan Kenobi. We call it the weathered lightsaber, but you don't really need to say that. It's just the original Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber from Star Wars Episode 4 New Hope is number 7 on the countdown. So here we are, right outside the top 5. This is Mace Windu's Signature Edition. What is there to say about this magnificent hilt? 18 karat gold accent. The only signature edition that was actually different from the limited edition. Rumors are that Samuel L. Jackson had actually donated his auction fee, or not auction, excuse me, his autograph fee to make it that much more special. Take a look at the reflection. Look at how deep the gold is. Just very, very beautiful. I do have a lot of nostalgia for the original trilogy, but you know, this lightsaber and the one that's right above it, sitting at number 5, I put so high up just because they're just absolutely stunning in their quality, and you know, that basically transcends a lot of other things and gets them right up there. So signature edition Mace Windu, number 6. And since we're so close, we can go right into number 5, which is the Count Dooku signature edition. This is actually absolutely amazing. It doesn't quite have as much gold, although as you can see, there's a little bit of it. It doesn't quite have as much gold as the Mace Windu, but you know, this design is so beautiful. That kind of curved pistol grip blade, and then of course the signature on the silver plaque by Sir Christopher Lee, who has, you know, passed on. You're never going to get this signature again. There's just too much legacy, too much history. It's a gorgeous chrome-plated lightsaber hilt. Everything about it is just absolutely amazing. It was very close between this one and Mace. You know, in fact, in the original ranking, I had actually put Mace above this one. But in the end, I think Christopher Lee's, after some thought, Christopher Lee's signature, you know, put this over the top, making this number 5 on the countdown. Welcome back after the cut. Number 4. This is Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, Mark Hamill signature edition lightsaber, Luke Skywalker. Check out the worldwide edition. Amazing signature, and then of course this classic hilt. I mean, you know, this was the very first lightsaber ever put on screen in 1977. You just cannot ignore the history. Mark Hamill's signature. What a stunning piece in terms of everything surrounding it. Yes, there are more beautiful lightsabers. There's more blinged out lightsabers. But yet, at the end of the day, this is, you know, the Big Daddy, the original. And this is part of the reason why, again, I ranked, since we're in the same neighborhood, I ranked the Empire Strikes Back Mark Hamill, and right below it, the Elite Edition, Star Wars A New Hope, just, you know, as low as they were. I mean, I think I ranked them, 16 and 17? Because you can see they're so close to the original. This is basically the original, but much better material. But I, you know, still had to give it to the signature edition. As you can see, the Empire is very, very close as well to design. So the original, I figured I have this already in the top 5. Number 4, it's harder to justify ranking the Elite and the Empire Strikes Back signature edition similarly high. So there you have it. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope with Mark Hamill's signature edition. All right, after the cut, we're now getting into the top 3. And at number 3, of course, the Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi Elite Edition, the so-called clean version. And this is just an immaculate, unbelievable lightsaber. Stainless steel, heavy, the finest components. They just don't make them like they used to. One of Master Replica's absolute masterpieces. There's really not much to say about this lightsaber. It's an amazing piece, and I do place it in my top 3 favorites, my personal top 3 favorites. Very, very, you know, just phenomenal. Only 750 made. So there you have it. And since we're in the neighborhood, yes, indeed, right above it, this is number 2, guys. Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi version 2 signature edition. One of the last ones that they made, signed by Mark Hamill. This is more beat up, but again, I did give the signature over the Elite. So in terms of legacy, you know, despite the fact that the Elite versions are some of the best quality, I still always give these signature versions that slight edge over the Elite edition. As you'll see, as you see, I gave number 2 to the signature edition of the Luke Skywalker lightsaber over the Elite, and I gave number 4, signature edition of the New Hope Luke Skywalker over the Elite, which was all the way, I think, in number 16. Okay, so we're getting really, really close. For those of you who've been paying attention, you'll know that number 1 is the one I haven't talked about, and so you will have already figured out what number 1 is, but we're gonna go and check it out after the cut. Welcome back after the cut, and finally, no surprise, the number 1 lightsaber that I own of the total 29 is the Star Wars Episode 4 New Hope Darth Vader dual signature plaque. This is the one that actually started my journey almost a year ago. In the first place, I had the Empire Strikes Back signature edition Vader. I had the Return of the Jedi signature edition Vader, and I had the non-signature Star Wars A New Hope. And after all these years, you know, somebody kind of reminded me or brought my mind back to these lightsabers. I decided, why don't I try to finish it off? Prices have skyrocketed, but you know, this was what I bought. The first one I obtained in close to 7-8 years, and then reignited my passion for these lightsabers. It's of course one of the most iconic weapons in the entire Star Wars universe, and the only lightsaber with dual plaques, signed by both James Earl Jones as well as David Prowse, who has sadly passed on, and of course James Earl Jones in his 90s, no longer signing. Even though the case is older style, they made a much higher acrylic case to accommodate the high acrylic legs due to the signature plaques. So unlike, again, the Luke Skywalker signature edition from Empire Strikes Back, they sort of made their accommodations, okay? So much legacy, so much history, and of course has a lot of personal meaning to myself. So, you know, for all those reasons, despite the fact that it was literally, I guess it's not despite the fact, but maybe very, you know, in essence, kind of appropriate or fitting that one of the very first lightsabers ever done by Master Replicas when they obtained the license with all the fanfare, still would be, after everything, after you're, you know, thinking about the Mace Windu's and the Count Dooku's and the Sidious and all the wonderful signatures and all that rich history over decades, that still the first was the best, is the best. You know, dual plaque, dual signature, Darth Vader, Star Wars Episode 4 New Hope. This was number 1. It's always been number 1, always will be number 1. It wasn't very close. So there you have it. And after the cut, I'll have, I guess, some last words. Again, sorry for the reflection, but there you go. This is number 1 lightsaber held in my collection. All right, welcome back after the cut. Before I talk about my closing thoughts on, you know, my ranking, I guess I just wanted to showcase what, you know, what 30 with the 29 lightsabers looks like from a certificate of authenticity point of view. You can see that it comes in many different colors and shapes, black, and then the beige fold-out envelopes. And then you have the actual regular beige envelopes that doesn't fold out. I'm not going to get all of them out because that would be a disaster. It would take another forever burger. This is really, really thick because it actually has some of the microfiber cloth involved in them. So this is half the pile right here. And then over here, you have the EFX certificates, which are way bigger. They're actually square, as you can see. So there's these 4 right here. And then some more of the COAs, some of them actually still in the bag, all from Master Replicas. So 25 Master Replicas hilts and the COAs, and the 4 from EFX. So kind of pretty amazing when I kind of look at this in its totality. These are all basically, you know, COAs, which is, I don't know, it's pretty cool. I just kind of wanted to splice this little bit in before my final thoughts, kind of just really taking it all in and the journey I've been on, getting all of these unique hilts, and, you know, having such an amazing collection of lightsabers from the movies. You know, feel just very, very happy and fortunate to have that collection. It's really special. And looking at this, you know, pile of certificates really kind of brings it home how many of them there really are, you know, because I review them one at a time, and even when I'm making my ranking, I'm still kind of looking at it one at a time. But when you see all of this in front of you, that really kind of drives that home. So anyways, after the break, I will go into my final thoughts. Well, welcome back after the cut. This is going to be my final thoughts. Thanks for kind of your attention through this long video. It's going to be like, I think, probably close to an hour and a half after it's all said and done, for going through the ranking with me. I hope that, you know, it provided a little bit of enjoyment. There's, it's not every, you know, day that you get to see all of the Master Replicas, blades, lightsabers, as well as the 4 EFX ones all in one spot, and they're ranked like that. So I hope that, you know, for some of you who love lightsabers and, you know, you don't own all of them, both by, you know, watching this particular video and also by looking at some of the other ones you might be interested in, that you'll have a really, really good opportunity to see the up close, you know, videos, and really get to see how beautiful these hills are, and my appreciation for them. So I want to thank you again for all of that. I'm going to end it now with just some final thoughts. So it's been just quite a journey. You know, I started doing this about a year ago. So I like obtained the vast majority of these hilts. I would say out of the 29, I got 27 of them, you know, in the last year. I got, I think, the Star Wars dual signature Vader sometime this year, maybe late December, early January was when I actually got in the mail, you know, from Korea, my Darth Vader dual sig. So about a year, give or take, I got all of these, you know, lightsabers. And it's been, of course, quite the journey. A lot of interesting stories and friends made, and you know, pretty incredible twists of fate and good luck and bad luck all rolled into one. But I did it, and this kind of ranking, you know, reflects my feelings, having all of them in my collection. And so I hope, you know, you enjoyed that, and I would love to hear your thoughts, having seen it, you know, what you think about the list, and, you know, what your list is as well, you know, why you like one over the other. That's part of the fun of collecting, is sort of, you know, exchanging opinions and information with like-minded people who, you know, also appreciate and enjoy these things. I didn't have an opportunity to talk about some other lesser lists. Of course, my ranking includes everything I've thought about. I didn't think about secondary market value because, again, they change so fast. But in this closing video, I felt like I would have the opportunity to mention that because I did spend about a year searching and buying them. A lot of it's just grinding through eBay and the forums, getting lucky, making connections with people asking if they were willing to sell other things, posting want to buys on the Facebook Master Replicas page, etc. So this type of value, of course, can swing very drastically, just depending on circumstance. But it reflects, again, the market over the past 1 year. So I think that the dual Sig Vader from New Hope, as well as the Obi-Wan Kenobi as first built, those are the two probably most valuable, or the ones that command the most. They're in the 4,000s at this point, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. But that's what it is. And I got mine, in terms of the Vader, I got mine for $3, which is like a huge purchase for me back then. But now it's considered actually a pretty good deal. If you can get a complete in box for just $3,000, in my opinion, you should jump on that for sure. It's definitely over $4 now. Those are, confirmed sold prices on eBay UK as well as eBay. And again, these are, lightsabers complete in box without problems or damage. So that's 2. I think that the New Hope Episode 4 Luke Signature Edition is creeping up there, especially if it has the second plaque, the Worldwide Edition plaque, as well as the photo insert of Mark Hamill. It's very comfortably in the mid-3s, and I have seen it creeping close to the 4 mark. So there's that one. And then definitely Vader Return of the Jedi Signature Edition and Vader Empire Strikes Back Signature Edition are both close to 4,000 as well. It just kind of, again, depends on the fluctuations in the market. So there's that. But the ones I think that it will be consistently in the 4,000s is going to be Obi-Wan as first built and the dual signature Vader. I remember a Obi-Wan as first built lightsaber alone, no case, nothing else. I don't think it even had paperwork or a plaque. It was just the as first built hilt, and that sold for $2,500 within like minutes after it was posted. So that gives you an idea, of that one's value. In the 3,000 club, the aforementioned Episode 4 Luke signature and the Vader signatures from Jedi and Empire, they're definitely solid $3,000 club members, maybe flirting into breaking into the 4s, of which, again, only the dual Sig Vader and the Obi-Wan as first built are solid 4s. And then to join those, I would say the 2 Return of the Jedi ones, the elite Luke Jedi, as well as the version 2 signature edition. Those 2 are pretty solid 3s. They'll dip below 3 if you get lucky, but normally they're 3s, at least what I've seen over the past year. And then the Ahsoka Tano from EFX, as well as the Mace Windu signature edition, also very solid 3,000s, okay? So we put all that together, that's 9. That's the top 9 in terms of secondary market value, all 3 to 4s, And then finally, bringing up the bottom, if you want to round out the top 10, could be Anakin signature edition, Attack of the Clones. It could be the Luke New Hope Elite. It could be even, what else? Maybe Dooku. No, Dooku is more like mid-2s. So yeah, I would say probably a toss-up between Attack of the Clones signature edition Anakin versus the Luke Elite. I think Obi-Wan Elite is still probably in the mid-2s as well, mid to high 2s. So yeah, those are the values, in terms of secondary market, the 10 most expensive lightsabers. Now, if you want to talk about the most blinged out, the most gorgeous looking, without legacy or whatever, it's actually mostly original. It's actually mostly prequel trilogy. So the top three, in no particular order, is going to be Mace, Darth Sidious, and Count Dooku. I mean, those three are the most beautiful lightsabers in the entire line. They're absolutely stunning. A lot of 18 karat gold highlights, all chromed out. And in Darth Sidious's case, his lightsaber has like actually a gloss coat, which, you know, if that's damaged, it's really, really hard to like recover or to repair. May even be impossible. So those three for sure. And then to round out the top five, I would put in the Anakin Skywalker Attack of the Clones Signature Edition, as well as the elite version of Return of the Jedi's Luke Skywalker, you know, blade. Those are the top five for me. Top five most beautiful lightsabers in the entire line. So there you go. You have my ultimate ranking, and then you have my top 10 most valuable in terms of secondary market, and then my top 5 like best looking, you know, most luxurious looking lightsabers. So I hope that gave you a little bit extra, you know, a little extra something to talk about, so to speak. So I'm gonna end it on that. Not a whole lot more to say. Hope you enjoyed all of that. And again, you have access to all of my longer, you know, video reviews and all of my rankings. Again, I would be interested in hearing your particular thoughts and the reasons how you rank them. And until next time, do take care.